I am Trey. I'm the CEO of Dryden Gold, a private company that is currently operating, searching for high-grade gold in Northwest Ontario.
Trey, good to see you. Thanks, and welcome back to the show. We are going to chat today about what you've got. But first, I've got to talk about the fundraise. You announced that you would be hitting the road and raising capital. How is that going?
Well, it's actually going quite well in a difficult market. But we are raising $3 to $5 million at a price of 15 cents with a full warrant at 30 cents.
Right. Okay. And so how much are you raising? Who are you going after? I mean, obviously, given the success you've just come off the back of, are you kind of going back to shareholders that know you and know your success, and what sorts of conversations are you having with them? Any joy?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a very strategic shareholder list. People who were successful and made money in the buyout of Ely Gold, some institutional people. And also, this has been very widely accepted by other high net worth and strategic shareholders.
Right. And why go now? Why go public now? Because it's a very, very difficult market, especially for precious metals after the last 3 years. I mean, you've got to have something quite strong and a strong message to go to market with. I mean, have you, and is it resonating?
Well, we've raised over $4 million as a private company, but we really have, we think, something that needs a drill program going right away. And so we want to get at least one drill program, maybe two done here within the next 6 months. And quite frankly, we're anticipating a much better market in the spring, and we want to be ready for it.
Right. Okay. And when do you expect to close this money?
Within the next 3 weeks, we'll close, but certainly we'll be trading on the TSXV by the end of the year under the symbol DRY.
Okay, fine. And if anyone wants to take part in this, can they contact you or contact the company?
This is being done as a reverse takeover. So it is for accredited investors only through subscription receipts. But yes, people can contact us directly or go through their broker.
Right. And you better give us some contact details before I forget to ask you. Email address or is it on the website?
It's all on the website and on all of our disseminated communications.
Okay, fine. Well, let's get stuck into this because it's kind of exciting. We're talking high-grade gold in North America. Always good to talk about. You're joined today by Maura, who obviously we met in Colorado. How are you, Maura?
Doing well. Thanks, Matt.
Good. If you don't mind, I mean, we had time to catch up in Beaver Creek, but for those people sort of new to this story and sort of wanting to look at, especially during tax loss season, what perhaps they should be redeploying their capital to, do you mind sort of kind of running us through what it is that you've got and what you're going to be doing with the money?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start with what we've got because we've put together a fantastic land package in Northwestern Ontario, which is, near Red Lake, near Rainy River Mine, near Atikokan with the, the Hammond Reef project there. But we've got this underexplored belt, 50 kilometers strike length on it. But we also have greenfields potential in there where there's already been a significant amount of drilling, about 20,000 meters in a kilometer. And it's to find something that I'm surprised there isn't a resource on already. We've got the map up here and you can see the yellow is all of our land package here. The most important thing to me is this really key structure that goes from the northeast all the way to the southwest, and that's our main shear zone. We believe it's similar to like the Porcupine-Dester Fault that Timmins has, and that we need to be within about a kilometer or two of that to really be able to find high-grade gold mineralization.
Right, but tell me a little bit about given where you came from and where you've worked before, you had choices as to kind of where you went, the safety of some big companies, or quite frankly, you need a pretty darn good reason to kind of dive into a kind of a small startup effectively here. So what were you seeing?
Well, that is exactly what got me interested. So I'd worked in Red Lake for 8 years as the exploration manager there, doing the sale to Newmont and Evolution. And what I really couldn't look away from was the similarities between the rocks here at the Gold Rock camp and Red Lake. So I've got my little cartoon up right now, but you can see that it looks very similar. That main Manitou-Genoric shear zone for the Gold Rock camp is very similar to what Red Lake has with the South Crosscut Fault. And then it has secondary structures coming off of that. Those make for great traps for high-grade gold mineralization. And then, of course, the geometry of the rocks themselves looks extremely similar. So we have a fold in Red Lake with those faults coming through, creating a lot of different traps for high-grade chute-like mineralization. And Gold Rock has the same sort of geometry. I think as we drill it tighter, you'll see more complexities in those folds like we see in Red Lake. But we're already noticing that in our first drill program, some micro folds and some complexities. I couldn't look away from this similarity, and liking the challenge of high-grade gold mineralization, I was like, yes, Trey, I'll join you. This sounds too fun to pass up.
Right, okay. So in terms of how you come at something like this, the bit that interests me, because obviously you're going to raise a bit of money, not a whole bunch of money. You don't want a bunch of dilution until you can give the market a sense of what you're seeing here. So tell me about the drill program that you've planned and, what you're hoping to try and get from that.
Yeah, well, first I'll back up a little and just kind of give you my main thesis and what we think is controlling the gold here. So I talked about that structure that goes from the northeast to the southwest. That's our main structure. And all those secondary structures coming in, they help create the traps. And on this map here, you can see the geologic folds, all the different colors. Well, we think that those intersections coming together create a chute-like plunge. And that's what you see in the high-grade zone in Red Lake. It's a shooting cigar-shaped plunge. So we already have 1.5 kilometers of known strike length on a vein system here in what was historically drilled by Manitou Gold, and even earlier Teck was in this camp. So we're sitting on a fair bit of data already, but for some reason, no one really put together this geologic story. So we're going to be fine-tuning the intersection of those structures so that we can go after that high-grade chute orientation. We also see that orientation in the fold itself. So those are two key pieces that are kind of telling us that these chutes should be plunging to the southwest. Now, the purpose of the drill program will be to test those theories and then apply that in two or three deeper holes on the high-grade chutes that we know about in this camp. Also, we'd like to do some step-out holes. So we've got a few planned to the south there, about 1 kilometer out from the known vein. And those will really be very exciting. They're on some geophysical targets, and we've done some surface mapping to see that there's mineralization there. So that'll really, again, drive home our thesis.
Okay, so the thesis is one thing. Do things properly is one thing. Big company mentality when there's lots of capital around is one thing. It's in a market like this, when you're about to go public, you're going to have to think about the way that you drill and the information that comes out of that, which you hope will resonate with the marketplace. And they can distinguish, what you're doing from what every single other, gold explorer wannabe is doing. So, I mean, yeah, I know you're subconscious of this, and you're certainly especially conscious of being the efficacy of each dollar that you spend. So can you give us a sort of sense of, have you had to sort of bend and twist into, or do you feel you're going to have to bend and twist into conforming to kind of public company mentality versus what you as a, systematic explorer would have to do?
I think we have to dance that line very carefully. If we don't test our thesis and come up with a sound science that controls the high grade, we can't repeat it. So I can be pressured as much as I like, but I know what I have to do to figure out and unlock that high grade. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay.
And Trey, so if I can come back to you, I mean, you've been pounding the streets recently. What is the feedback from the marketplace? What do they want to see? What's their expectation of what you've put together here?
I think that, it is a very tough market right now. But news stories are seeming to resonate. High-grade gold exploration in a camp like this that's got great access and as far as the Trans-Canada highways running through it, forest roads, and so great access. And the work that has been done, I mean, Maura didn't really point it out, but this is not just high grade. This is crazy high grade. We had 3,497 grams in one hole over 8.5 meters. So when you start to show pictures of that core and talk about finding this kind of high grade, it's resonating pretty well as far as the story. But money is tight.
3,497 grams per ton over 8.5 meters. That's insane.
Well, it's even more insane, Matt.
I thought it was a typo. That's amazing.
It's even more insane in that the vein there carried 53,700 grams, 1,720 ounces per ton over 0.5 meter.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I can see why you got interested in that. So, Maura, I mean, what's the chances of finding more of that?
But it's interesting. So we looked back at what the previous owners, Manitou Gold, did, and they tried to repeat that hole. Like, they drilled twinning 12 holes around that. 11 of them hit over 10 grams per ton on that vein, some of them being like 300, some of them being, kind of all across the board. They didn't replicate that insane high grade, but they definitely proved that there is a high grade core. Now, they didn't step out very far, so that's why it comes back to that importance of testing the thesis and the plunge orientation and getting that right so that we can find the highest grade core and continue to show that there is something, sexy there.
Right, okay. And give me a sense of the drilling there. So how deep are we going here? I mean, how much is each drill hole going to cost you? How many holes are you aiming to do?
So the nice part is that this mineralization outcrops right on surface. I mean, I've been able to walk on this vein. So we can do step out drilling along strike that's quite shallow and very, very inexpensive. And we've done 5 holes in a week. So we know that we can be pretty efficient. And then we're going to do some deeper holes. The deepest drilling on this property is about 200 meters. But most of the drilling is around 100 meters. So that gives us the opportunity to do a few deeper holes around 200 meters and then some in between to test that high grade shoot.
Okay. 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 Well, looks like it's meant to be some quick catch up on the fundraising, but I think it's worth kind of running into what you're going to be doing with that one. So appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks for the summary. I can see why you're a little bit excited about it. And do come and let us know when the fundraiser has happened. And Maura, please come back when you're starting to look at some of this drill core, please.
Awesome.